Hello one and all, and welcome along to the Euro Fantasy League podcast. This is your monthly update on all the goings on in the Premier League, La Liga and Serie A, with reference to the fantasy points on eurofantasyleague.com. I'm Jamie McLean, and I'm joined as always by David Fennick. Hello there, Dave.
Hi, Jamie.
You keeping well, my friend?
Not too bad.
Good, marvellous. Shall we get on with the show? Yes, welcome along, as I say, to the Euro Fantasy League podcast. Now, Dave, it's been plenty going on since we were last here, hasn't there? We've got some title races that are starting to take shape.
Yep.
And we've had a few teams relegated as well, so we've got plenty to be getting through today. So where would you like to start off? Should we start off just local, go to the Premier League to get things kicked off, eh?
Yep, well, as local as the Premier League is to us, anyway.
Well, yeah, that's true. Well, we've got Premier League football about 10 miles up the road anyway, haven't we? So,
have we?
Newcastle. That's only
right.
about 10 miles or so, isn't it? So, yeah. So, I mean, the Premier League business end of things at the top, of course, Man City and Liverpool, that chase is going right to the wire, isn't it?
It is, yep. Man City just won at Burnley there yesterday with an Aguero goal just over the line. That checked it was over the line, and it was. But, I still think it's City's mind.
Yeah, I know. Well, you've said that all season, haven't you? And for all I said to you at the time that I wasn't sure whether any team would push them close, I think Liverpool have pushed them a lot closer than pretty much anyone would have expected them to,
definitely.
haven't they?
I mean, the points Liverpool could end up with something like 97 points and still lose the league.
Yeah, that's right. They could potentially finish on 97 and still not win the title.
Unbelievable.
I mean, that is harsh on them, isn't it, if that turns out to be the case. But then again, Man City, like I say, you've said it all season long, they probably are. I think whoever wins it will be a worthy champion. But I think Man City have just got the edge. I know that's not saying much, considering at the time of recording they're a point ahead. But I think I would tend to agree. I think City will walk away purely based on the fact that I can't really see them slipping up now. Not with 2 games left and with so much at stake.
You wouldn't think so, but you never know. There might be a late twist. I don't know. But what amazes me, the gap from them 2 to the next place.
Yes, I know, 21 points. Yeah.
Yeah. And Tottenham's in third and they've lost 12 games. So you're third off top and lost 12 games. Doesn't seem right, that.
No, I know. I mean, you just sort of hark back to the days of, say, when Man United were dominating the league, and if they lost 5 games, they were out of the title race, basically. You know, it was absolutely incredible. But, I mean, look at Liverpool, though. They've lost once. Yeah. You know, they've lost 1 game. Tottenham have lost 12. There's a 21-point gap between them.
Yeah.
And I mean,
top 2 have just ran away with it.
Yeah, I mean, anything between 3rd and 6th, well, maybe not 3rd and 6th inclusive, but it's all to play for in amongst there, you know. There's only 5 points separating them. With 2 games left, like I say, you wouldn't fancy Man United to catch Tottenham. Well, it's not going to happen, but I mean, there's only 3 points separating Chelsea in 4th and Man United in 6th.
It's been like a 2-horse race, really, because Wolves in 7th place are 38 points behind the leader.
Yeah, I know, that's right.
Incredible.
Yeah, and I mean, even they're 11 behind, so you've almost got like 3 leagues going on within the Premier League. You've got 1st and 2nd, 3rd through 6th, and then you've got 7th down was almost like the majority of it, you know.
Anyway, enough about the top. What about the bottom? Is it Cardiff or is it Brighton?
I think it's going to be Cardiff, purely based on the fact there's 4 points difference. The need to basically, especially with the goal difference, they need to win both of those games, Cardiff, and I'm not certain, even if they do, they need to rely on Brighton not getting anything, and Brighton have drawn 2 of their last 3 games.
Yeah, I think Chris Hughton's just tried to tighten them up, but I think there's calls for his head when earlier on the season, I remember saying on the podcast that Brighton were an established Premier League club now, and it's I nearly got that one wrong. But I think Brighton will just do enough to stay up there.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest shame of the season's been Huddersfield. They did quite well last year, obviously staying up.
Started off well, but then had a bad second half of the season, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean they've just they've dropped like a stone, haven't they? I mean they're 12 points behind 19th. So it hasn't even really been a fight. And that's Fulham, who are 12 points ahead of Huddersfield. Fulham, who, yes, they're in good form at the minute, 3 wins on the bounce, but they've looked absolutely abysmal this season as well. And if I was a Fulham fan, I'd be questioning why the players can suddenly come up with 9 points out of 9 after relegation's been confirmed.
Different manager, isn't it?
Yeah, but
Scotty Parker not doing a bad job. They'll probably
he's not
one of the favourites to bounce straight back from the Championship.
You would certainly think so. I can see them getting a little bit of a transfer budget as well in the Championship.
They spent a lot of money, but they didn't seem to spend much on defenders.
No,
they didn't. Players,
I know, and that's a shame because before they were relegated last time, they'd been in the Premier League quite a while, Fulham, and now it looks as though they've just dropped away from that level. Generally, a bit of a rebuilding work to do.
Bournemouth's at home to Tottenham on this weekend, and Cardiff's at home to Crystal Palace.
Yeah, so I know.
You never know; it could be down to a point after Saturday.
Yeah, you're right enough. You would fancy of those 2 games, if either of them were going to come out with anything, it should be Cardiff.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
Take it down to the last game of the season.
Yeah, it would be quite good to see. It always seems to be a bit of a shame when you go into the last game of the season and there's nothing really to play for.
If I'm not wrong, we're saying Brighton might be safe. I'm sure Brighton might have Man City the last game of the season.
Yes, they have, Dave. Yeah, they're at home to Man City on the 12th of May.
Yeah. So they've got
Arsenal. They're at Arsenal.
Arsenal away.
Yeah.
And
Man City at home.
City at home.
Yeah.
So I don't think Brighton will get any more points.
No, there is
Cardiff, I think, could get a result against Crystal Palace at home, but then who have Cardiff got the last game of the season?
They're away to Man United. So
you never, you don't know. There could be one more. There could be a twist.
Yeah, I suppose there could be. If you're going to go to Man United needing anything, now might be the sort of time to do it when United are struggling for form. But it's very, very interesting towards the bottom end of the Premier League table. Right, so we're going to have a quick look now, Dave, at some of the top performing Premier League players on the Euro Fantasy League game. And no surprise, it's not a massively different story to last month, to be honest. You remember when it was all Man City and Liverpool? The only exception being Eden Hazard at Chelsea. That's still very much the case. The top performing non-Man City or Liverpool player, apart from Eden Hazard, is Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang at Arsenal, and he's on 84. Now that's, Mo Salah's topping the charts at 141. 12 points this past weekend, of course, at the time of recording. 2 goals. He got 2 points for the clean sheet, and he provided an assist as well. So very good outing for Mo Salah. He was the top Premier League player. Callum Wilson and Sadio Mane in joint second. Callum Wilson, of course, getting 10 points from the 3-3 draw at Southampton. 2 goals and an assist.
That was a game that swung both ways, wasn't it?
Yeah, I know. That was an absolutely brilliant game, it was. And Mane getting 2 goals and the clean sheet in Liverpool's 5-0 win over Huddersfield this past weekend. So, yeah, there you go. I mean, other top performers, Andrew Robertson, Liverpool, Jamie Vardy at Leicester, but then you've got Alisson, Trent Alexander-Arnold, then you've got Edison at Man City. So it's been, like you say, more or less entirely 2-horse race, no matter which way you look at things in the Premier League, really. So, the season's drawn to a close. By the time our next episode comes out, obviously things will all be done and dusted, and I think we're going to be probably doing just a big season roundup for the end of May. But so obviously all of these little matters that are still, hanging around will be resolved. But I think it's pretty clear the way it's going. Yes, the title race is tight. That last relegation spot. So there we go. So there's the Premier League, Dave. So what we'll do, we'll head off, have a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have a little look at Serie A. So we'll be right back. And welcome back to the Euro Fantasy League podcast. So Dave, we're having a little jaunt over to Italy now, one of our favourite countries. I've never actually been to Italy, but I like the culture.
Yeah.
So,
And could I just start by saying about Serie A? Since the last time we spoke on air, Spal, our friends at Spal, only
yes.
went and beat Juventus
Yeah,
2-1.
I know. I was going to mention actually their league position at the time of recording. Absolutely incredible. 12th. 12th
Yeah.
in the table, just right up there in mid-table. Still not mathematically safe from the drop, but
Beating Juve, though. What a
yeah,
result.
I know, that's an incredible result. I mean, Juve have only lost twice all season.
Yeah.
And I think our mates have done a good job there. They've actually, they went on a little streak. They won 3 out of 4. They drew the last one. So they've only lost one of the last 5. That's...
They don't concede many, do they?
No, they don't. I mean, just having a little look now, 34 games played. They've scored 35, so they're not great goal scorers. Conceded 48. So, I mean,
Yeah.
that's still not bad. That's only, round about a goal and a half a game that they're shipping. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty solid. So, Spal not having a bad time of things. Juve, of course, have got the title in the bag. They're 18 clear of Napoli at the time of recording with 4 games left. So, even if they lost everything, they'd still win the title by 6 points.
But haven't won the Champions League, which that's what Ronaldo was signed for.
Yeah, I know. Well, there's always next year. I feel like we say this a lot as like Sunderland followers. There's always next year.
I don't know if the hierarchy will be very impressed with that, because I think Ronaldo, with all the money they spent on him to bring him in, it was meant to be Champions League glory.
Yeah, well, I mean, Ronaldo, if you're going to want anyone in to try and deliver you the Champions League, it is going to be Ronaldo, isn't it? But
Yeah.
It
hasn't happened, though.
No, it hasn't. It's quite surprising. Obviously, Ajax are doing a good job in the Champions League this year.
Yeah.
They're quite reminiscent of early 90s Ajax.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. They really look a different team to where they were even 4 or 5 years ago. You wouldn't have fancied them against many teams in that tournament. And that's no disrespect, but for a once great European force, you could sort of, if they'd gone up against Leicester, when Leicester were there, you'd have thought Leicester had a chance. But now they're starting to look much more like the Ajax of old.
Can they win it?
So, well, you never know. They certainly can. But, time will tell. I'm very much looking forward to the Champions League final, actually. See who's playing. I always enjoy it. Go out for a few beers when that's on. Mm-hmm. So we'll look at the bottom end of the table then. Chievo, they're long gone. They're only a point better off than Huddersfield. 15 they're on. They got a draw in the last game.
And I think they got a points deduction earlier on the season, didn't they?
Yeah. So they're 19 points adrift with 12 available. Other than that, the other 2 relegation spots still all to play for, kind of. Frosinone, they're on 23, but they've lost 3 on the bounce. That's really put them in trouble. Well, it hasn't helped them, because the form of Empoli in 18th hasn't been much better. They've lost 3 of the last 4. So Frosinone 11 points adrift with 12 left. You would fancy they're gone. No, you would fancy they're gone. Empoli, they're 5 points behind Udinese, who were 17th, with 4 games left. So maybe would take a bit of an upturn in fortune, but... So 5 points is a big gap to bridge at this point of the season. So the relegation race, I suppose, race to get away from it, looks all but done in all but maths. So that's where Serie A's at the minute. Now let's have a little look at some of Serie A's top performing players for the season. Fabio Cagliarella at Sampdoria, 105. He got 4 this past week. So, he's really dominating Serie A for the fantasy points. He got 4. He scored Sampdoria's goal in that 2-1 defeat at home against Lazio. Second place, Dries Mertens, my boy. Then you've got Duvan Zapata in third, Ronaldo 4th. Now, that's amazing, because in La Liga, it was always Ronaldo and Messi were dominating. But he hasn't quite... He's not that far off Cagliarella, but sitting in 4th is a bit surprising. Samir Handanovic, Christoph Piatek, Armando Izzo, Salvatore Sirigu, a couple of Torino players in there. That's sort of how the season's looking. In this past week, it's Roma that sort of did the best. You've got Federico Fazio, Alexander Kolarov, both got 9. for Roma. Antonio Moranti got 7. Javier Pastore on 6. So Roma were probably the big individual hitters. There was a few from Napoli as well. David Ospina, Dries Mertens, as I said, Amin Younes. So there you go. They're sort of the players you want to be looking at getting in just for the last few weeks of the Serie A season, I would have to say. Quick mention on Serie A before we head off to La Liga. Have you heard about AS Roma?
What about them?
Have you heard about the ban they've put on the players?
No.
Right, they've banned any of their players from taking photographs with Drake, the rapper Drake, because of the Drake curse. Now, Drake, whenever he sort of, I don't want to say associates,
has he been performing in Italy, like?
No, it's not. Well, I'm not too sure about that. But whenever he has any sort of association, photographs, anything like that with an athlete, or he's got something to do with a team, they inevitably go on to lose. Think Conor McGregor when he got beat a few months ago in UFC. He'd been seen with Drake, and it's sort of gone on from there. PSG have had something to say about him as well. So AS Roma, they've just banned their players.
Is he on some world tour or something? Because what's the chances of them Roma players, what's the chance of them bumping into Drake anyway?
Well, he does like to get a photo with some athletes. So Roma it's very tongue-in-cheek, obviously, but they've just said, nah, you're not doing it. Stay away from him. Because obviously Roma don't want to give anything up in the race for the top 4, because they've got Atalanta, Torino and Milan hot on the heels. Lazio only a point behind them. That's still all to play for.
Is he a Roma supporter or something?
I don't know. I'm not too sure. But no,
I just didn't think the possibilities of them meeting him would even happen.
Well, Paris Saint-Germain's Levin Kurzawa, he posed for a photo with Drake, and then his team lost the very next game. PSG lost the very next game. So he does get himself involved with the footballers. So, Roma have just basically nicely asked him to stay away. But, Serie A seems very much the chase to watch there is for 4th, I think. Inter Milan 3rd, they're on 62 points. Not really likely to go up or down from there. Napoli 2nd, 8 clear of Inter. So, like I say, not likely. But then only 2 points separating 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th. So, that seems to be the race to watch in Serie A. So, we'll take our last break, Dave. Then we'll head off, and when we come back, we'll cover La Liga. So, we'll be right back. Yes, and welcome back once again to the Euro Fantasy League podcast. I've got another footballer that Drake got involved with, Dave. Paul Pogba. He watched Drake perform at the Manchester Arena, got a picture taken with him, and United then went and lost 2-1 to Wolves in the FA Cup. Arsenal's Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, he was at one of Drake's shows at the O2 in London. They lost to Everton the next weekend. So, it's very definitely a thing.
I think he must have been touring in Italy then. To come out of this,
there must be. But I mean, Roma, I don't know if you follow Roma's Twitter account, but they're very, very good on Twitter. Very sort of interactive with people. They're very likeable. The club that we've, on another project we do, sort of got friendly with, Caversham United. The Roma Twitter account actually named them their team of the week the other week. All right. So, they are very... really good on Twitter, I've got to say. Yeah. So, I think this is more just a one of those things, like, get a bit of a reaction on Twitter. So, no, that was good. But anyway, we're not talking about Serie A anymore. We're talking about La Liga, aren't we? So, I mean, what's your take on how La Liga's been going? It's all done and dusted, really, isn't it?
I don't think there's any surprises, is there?
Well, I mean, Barcelona have won La Liga. They're 9 ahead of Atletico Madrid. Still 9 to play for, but Barcelona won the head-to-head. So that's given them another La Liga title this year. I don't think Atletico are going to finish any lower than 2nd, because obviously you've got Real Madrid. They're 9 behind Atletico as well, with 3 games left. But Real's form's been a little bit patchy lately.
Good season for Atletico, mind.
Yeah, it has been. It's been great. And another team it's been a good season for, Getafe, in 4th. All right, they're 10 behind Madrid. They're tied on points with Sevilla in 5th. But yeah, that's sort of how the top four's looking. Love seeing Getafe up there. Sevilla 5th and Valencia in 6th. Now, they had a really bad start to the season.
They did. They pulled it round, though, mind, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, big style they have, yeah. But sort of the first 2 or 3 months, they were loitering around the relegation zone.
Yeah, they were.
You know,
yeah.
But
after having such a good season last season.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, they're looking at Europa League. They're 2 points ahead of Athletic Bilbao in 7th. So there is still a bit of a race for those places on as well. But I mean, saying that, Valencia have lost the last 2 in a row. So maybe Athletic Bilbao have got a shout at jumping in there. Towards the bottom end, Huesca are not relegated yet. This is the only league we cover where no team has been relegated yet.
Right.
But there's 9 available. Huesca are 7 points adrift. So it's looking like it.
Yeah.
Rio Vallecano only a point better off. Real Valladolid are only 2 points behind Girona. And
so that
Levante.
last one might be interesting.
Yeah, no, that's right. That 18th spot could go a number of ways, really. You've got Real Valladolid, and then 2 points ahead of them is Girona, Levante and Celta Vigo. So that one spot could go to any one of those 4 teams. Villarreal in 14th, I think, are safe. Maybe not mathematically, but they've got a bit of a cushion. So, yeah. So, I mean, there's just a quick roundup of...
Who's the top performers in La Liga, then? I'll have one guess.
Well, please feel free to have a guess. I bet you don't get it.
Messi.
Of course it's Messi. I was trying to put you off, but no, it didn't work, did it? It's Messi by quite some way. Lionel Messi, the top performing player, 164 points. Second place, Jan Oblak, 123. So Messi's 41 points clear. So that's, I would say, 2 or 3 blinding performances clear of Jan Oblak there. Karim Benzema, Luis Suarez, Mark ter Stegen. Then we've got a couple of Sevilla players. You've got Tony Sarabia and Wissam Ben Yedder. They're the next in the line. So that's it as far as the season's gone. This past few days, Marko Dimitrovic of Eibar, Alberto Garcia, Ivan Cuellar, Jan Oblak, Bono, Ruben Blanco, Mark ter Stegen. They all got 7 points. All goalkeepers, of course, keeping clean sheets.
Not many goals around.
No. The top performing outfield player was Willian Jose at Real Sociedad. He got 6. So not a particularly high scoring week, as you say. Those 6 points coming from a goal and an assist in Real Sociedad's 2-1 win over Getafe. So, yeah, Getafe just losing that one. You just think, oh, they could have been in an even better position if they'd avoided that. So,
all in all, though, a good season for them.
Oh, yeah. I don't think they're going to look back at this season and regret very much. Let's just say that. So, yeah, that's basically the roundup. Now, we had hoped to have a guest on this week, but unfortunately he wasn't able to make it. So what I was just alluding to there, we're going to have an end-of-season roundup next month, Dave, and we're going to try and get, I'll just say, more than one guest on for it. Okay. So we'll see how that goes. That might need a little bit of jiggery-pokery from us on schedule-wise, but we'll get it going. We'll get it working.
And everything will be done and dusted.
Yeah, and then that'll be it for the season, I think. And then I think after that, whether we're off for the summer or just discussing transfers, I'm not too sure yet, but we'll keep you posted with that one. So, yes, please do remember to check it out. We are on Twitter. We're at EuroFantasyPod. You can email us, eurofantasypod@gmail.com. And do remember to check out the sister games as well, fantasy-premier.com, fantasy-liga.com and fantasyseria.com as well. Play the game for free. It's at eurofantasyleague.com. And do remember to hit that subscribe button to this podcast, completely free of charge. And it just means every time we release a new episode, it gets delivered straight to your inbox. So there you go. You don't even have to do anything else other than that. And if you could leave us a rating and review, that would also be marvellous. Just helps other people find the show a little bit easier. So I think we've probably kept people hanging on for long enough now, Dave. So should we just say ta-da for April? And we'll be back in a few weeks to bring you the end of season review. So take care for now.
Ciao.